Crafting is probably one of the biggest parts of Star Citizen. It wasn't really a couple of years ago. I mean, I think it was always assumed that there would be crafting and stuff, like refining was part of that process, and base building was obviously something that they've been selling things about at least up until 2017. But crafting itself didn't really become much of a focus until the last couple of years. Now, blueprints are, I think, the real kicker of just how important crafting is, because like he's saying here, they can put blueprints anywhere. It could be a loot reward, it could be a faction reward, it could be something you buy from someone, it could be something you trade. I'm hoping blueprints are the kind of thing that also prop up the player economy. But I think the most important thing about them that he's saying here is that they are not physical. So you can find it, like we were saying, when you're out and about, and you don't have to worry about possibly being killed and losing it. It'll be attached to your character overall.
While you may find a blueprint on a datapad or other portable device, the blueprint itself is not a physical item. You don't collect them in a box or stack them on a bookshelf. Blueprints are digital. Once you claim one, it is permanently added to your personal library.
But because we're still in the alpha phase, if you find one of these during the alpha, and for whatever reason, it becomes victim of the persistence nightmare that we have right now, and you lose it, you lose it because persistence is not working how it's supposed to. So at least as of right now, this could get annoying. But once the game starts, these are going to be the absolute best thing you could find in Star Citizen.
This library is persistent to your character, and every blueprint you claim is yours forever. They cannot be stolen or traded once claimed.
That's kind of... I do wish you could sell it or pass it on. And it makes me wonder what happens when you lose your character. I guess it would just get passed down to whatever new character you have. But that means that if you want to be like a marketplace of blueprints or a data runner of blueprints, you can't actually ever use them. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to, I would like to be able to sell them. I think there could be a cool market for blueprints. And maybe there will be. Maybe there's going to be enough around that you can find, like, some of them will be very common. So I'm guessing you'll use some, sell others. Maybe you have a store with them. Yeah, and then you keep the most valuable for yourself, possibly. They have such a great opportunity here to create a huge player market around blueprints, upgraded things, and just like custom stuff. I hope they don't shy away from this. They keep saying that crafted stuff will always be better than the stuff you find and buy in the game. And it really could be. I certainly hope that they stick to this.
But it does not just end with acquiring blueprints. Those tiers of quality that Jacob mentioned are unlocked through blueprint research. Research requires a research data bank which can upgrade your blueprints. Upgrading here means that you unlock a blueprint that allows you to create a better, higher tier version of the same item using more advanced materials.
Okay, so in chat, Digital Design saying, Dune Awakening does blueprints exactly like this. It actually works pretty good. Once you use them, you always know them. You can sell them, but not after you use them to know them. Yeah, you could get duplicates. It also forces you to make choices, like if you find a really valuable blueprint somewhere. Dude, God, this is like such an exciting prospect for me. My favorite thing is just going into caves and dungeons and like derelicts and things like that. Not just in Star Citizen, in any game. My favorite thing has always been running fun little quests and finding the cool loot along the way. You know, I grew up on Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed and BioShock and stuff like that. It's just cool to go around, shoot a guy or two, interact with the surroundings, and then find something good. A little bit of lore, wrap it up. I'm good to go. That's a Tomat.
Note, you will still have access to the lower tier versions if you want to craft the cheaper version.
Also, what happens to a group? If a group unlocks a single high tier blueprint from doing a mission, do you have to just decide who in the group gets that blueprint? In which case, you want to keep playing with the same group, right? So you can have one person who collects the blueprints and everybody else is allowed to get free items of that nature from them. I don't know, man. That's rough because let's look at this from an org perspective. So if we were running this as an org, we'd have the crafters spin the wheel of fun. Yeah, I mean, essentially, we would have to have a crafters group. No, that doesn't even make sense either. Dude, I don't know how that works. I mean, our org is going to have thousands of people in it. And even if we had one person who had all of the highest tier recipes, that person's not going to be able to be at all of our bases at once. So how does that even work, man? I think there's going to have to be some way for these to be there, like a permission system, maybe. I don't know, man. Yeah, I feel like if your group gets too big, this is going to be a problem. Org-owned blueprints could be a thing. Yeah. Crafters will be at their own base, build things, and then store them in crates in the org storage. I want our crafters on our base. Have more designated crafters? Yeah. But if you have multiple crafters and you only find one blueprint, then you're still trapped. I guess that calls for more logistics. Is that a little trick? They're like, ha ha ha. Orcs can't manufacture things everywhere, so they'll have to ship them around. Oh, shit. It's like 4D chess, dude. Wait a second. Huh. Then you get the crafter good blueprints and they leave the org. Oh boy, yeah, that'd be rough. Ooh, they're gonna have to figure this one out. Allow for limited run copies of the blueprint. Oh, that's a thing. That is a thing. They have that. I think the reasonable option is to have org blueprints that are accessible to anyone in the org with the right permissions. Yeah, I also think that's reasonable. But I also thought this was reasonable till I thought about this stuff. So things keep coming up. That's why I guess it's really nice, like, at the end of the day, real talk, as real as it can possibly be. It's not very real. But actually, it's incredibly nice that even though this is taking forever and it's very annoying and we all want to rip our faces off because we just want to play a cool space game, the fact that we do get to play this cool space game while it's being built means that we get to debate about these things and talk about them and give feedback and, like, experiment with them while it's happening. I keep thinking this was something I put in a video a couple of weeks ago, months ago, some time ago. At the end of the video, I asked the question to people, how do you think things would be going if we got the same amount of exposure to GTA 6 that we get to Star Citizen? What would GTA 6 look like as a game if its community had as much input into the development and the insight into that game as this one? Because it's a lot different, dude. That changes stuff. It really changes things, in my opinion. GTA 6 would have been probably a mess, but I don't know. I bet maybe people would like it more. Not like they needed to. It's a sequel to the most successful game of all time. But still, how would it change? Back to the blueprint talk. Let's listen to a little bit more about the upgrading, because this is also a big part of what will make crafters unique and special.
Blueprint, you may need to perform certain actions. In this example, we need to craft 100-volt pistols and have one with a higher fire rate. Other examples would be collect resources, complete missions, or acquire research data from the Science Guild. Research is time-intensive, in addition to the action requirements. It will take time for the research data bank to process your research data and unlock the upgrade. You are also limited in how many research projects you can pursue at once.
You guys think that research is going to actually be something big enough where people like do it a lot, specialize in it? I do like the idea of research being things that you have to do that kind of in lore makes sense. So if you craft 100 pistols, you would assume that the person who did that is good enough to now craft a better pistol so they can upgrade one. Or if you go out and you kill a certain amount of people aiming down sights with this gun, technically you've done the research on shooting that gun enough to understand how to add a sight to upgrade it, kind of thing. Do you think, though, that this is going to make enough gameplay for people to really specialize in this, or it's just kind of that extra thing everybody does? No, you don't think so? Wasn't the Endeavor supposed to be the research ship? Well, that's why I'm asking, because research is like a thing they kind of have advertised. You think at the very least, research is something crafters will do for their specific niche. Yeah, that would make sense. Crafters definitely will be big on researching. The old research session.
Now that you have your blueprint and you decided what to craft, you also know what resources to look for.
So yeah, that's mainly it. That was a little touch on blueprints and sort of how they function, how they act. I think the biggest thing is just that when you find it, you can apply it and you're not going to lose it. And that's what a lot of people are going to have loot anxiety when they play the game. But at least with blueprints, you should be doing okay.